Hello everyone, and let's see how last week went and how we see the markets this week. So let's just get a nice clean chart out to see what happens. So we can clearly see that let's go on the 4 hour time frame. Okay, so we were okay. Where is Friday? Yep, it's this. Yep. So I remember telling you all that we are testing this area right here. I did say it is a bit tricky because overall we are bullish, as you can see, but we had this huge wick to the upside and we're maintaining above this area. So it's not easy to have a strong bias on this area at all. If price comes below this area, I said we can melt. But at the same time, we can rebound with this area and push to the upside too. And we got a bit of both this week. We could have caught moves, buys and sells both ways. This week there were so many opportunities. On the daily time frame, we can see we were clearly rejecting to the upside. On the 4 hour time frame, we saw many different rejections. We saw price literally melt, right? We come back above, literally stopping all these people out. It was literally like a liquidity grab, taking these people out, leaving a huge daily wick, huge daily wick to the downside, right? You can see on the 30-minute time frame, we rejected and we pumped all the way back up. We pumped all the way back up. And when this happened, my thing was, all right, cool. We left this huge wick. We could see this as a break of structure to the downside as well. I need price to come back into this area for me to look for sales. Why? We can see when price came into this area, we melted. When price came into this area, we absolutely melted. So I want to see what happens when price comes here again. If we get any sort of rejection, we can look for melting, another melt to the downside, or at least to this area here. Because of the way we left this daily, let's look at the daily wick to the downside. Yep. This kind of has not happened yet. We had this daily wick to the downside, so we can potentially look for some buys. High probability buys as well, simply because we are above this nice area of support. We had a huge daily wick to the downside. I believe for us to go and continue this downside momentum, then where can we get that? Where can we get that power from, that energy from, is our most responsive area of resistance, and I believe this is where it is. So what I would have been looking for is buys now. Buys. You could see that maybe you wanted to, yeah, you saw the 4 hour reject, and you could see what's going on. So we can see price come and literally give us a nice 4 hour rejection. I missed this entry, which I was really annoyed about. And what I wanted was a nice double top, because if I entered around here with my stops here, I didn't really like the risk to reward, as this was my take profit. But what we did get was a nice double top. Yeah, so when I saw this rejection, I thought we had rejection number one, rejection number two. We also left a huge 4 hour wick here as well. So we had the 4 hour rejection, we had two 30-minute rejections, we had a double top. Perfect for me to start looking for some sells. You could have entered with your stop losses here, and I believe I got like a 1 to 4.7 or something, 1.5, something like that. It was like 4.66. No, it was a bit more than that. It was what, like, well, it was like that, roughly around that, 1 to 4.92. We had a nice trade and literally a perfect entry, zero drawdown. And as I said, you could wait for the break and retest of this zone, and price literally continued to melt. And then my next desired zone was, all right, where is the highest probability area for us to go to? Is either here. And as I said, if you look at my first weekly outlook, we like these structural areas which have not been tapped. It was not tapped here. We can see a clean structural area. Yep, we literally pulled back and we came back into that structural area again. Look at that, we rejected this area twice and we pushed. Now it's about how does price respond here. With 4 hour rejection, 4 hour rejection again, right? 4 hour rejection, 30-minute, and you could wait for a nice pullback, break of structure on the 30-minute time frame. Get this, put your stops above that wick, and take price literally back down for 1 to 2.8. And you can see what happens. We are in this week right now. So what am I looking for this week? We can go to GJ for this week. What can we see? We can see in the 4 hour time frame. We can see on the 4 hour time frame, we are clearly bullish. And I like 4 hour retesting our previous structural points. We can see a low, lower high, lower low, lower low, sorry, lower high. Where is our lower high? I see our lower next lower high being up here, but this may be our lower high. We don't know, we shall see. I believe this could be, but I like catching the moves. GJ moves very quickly, so I can even see something like this happening, potentially. We could see price come back here, push down, push all the way back up, push there, push back, push down there, literally something like that, or even come all the way down. We could see something like that happen. We shall see. We shall see. If I was to predict the future, literally to a T, it would be like this. Let's see though. We may get something like this instead. Break, retest, push. But let me tell you why. It's no point me drawing all this without telling you why. Simply because I know that the 4 hour loves to retest these previous structural points. Even on the hourly time frame, you can see how clean it is. This is a nice previous structural point. If we get rejections, if we get nice little wicks, something like that, I'm entering with my stops there and I'm looking for TPs down there. If we don't, and I get a nice 4 hour closure above, I'm waiting for a pullback here. Why am I waiting for a pullback here? Because we can see when price pulled back into these areas, we pumped to the upside. Can go even more back. Yeah, exactly. We pumped to the upside here. It's a nice area. But I need rejections. When we come back above, I need rejections here for me to look for buys. I'm looking for buys and take profits no higher than this area. As soon as we get a clean 30-minute rejection here, I'm entering aggressively with stops around here with my TP1, TP2, and TP3 over here at 156. You can see price rolling all the way down into 156 long term. But yeah, 157,500 would be my TP3. As you can see, I've already got my stop loss take profits roughly around what I'm looking for. We shall see how price reacts. We will alter this. But yeah, I'm waiting for price to come here. And if we reject this area again, I may look for short-term buys, but not really feeling that. That don't make sense, especially when I'm overall bearish. All I'm looking for is price to come here, push down, see what happens here. If we have strong rejections and I don't see it breaking, okay, I may close my trade. But if we just break through, I'll wait for that retest to potentially take another entry to the downside. Yeah, we can even see a strong risk to 1 to 10, risk to 1 to 12. We can get a 1 to 12, we can get 1 to 5. This could be a great week for us on GJ. Gold, we are clearly bullish. We did not even leave a wick to the upside. It tells us how strong this area is. I know we're in the realms of these wicks and price can easily reverse on us. Huge wicks to the upside, huge selling momentum. We're in a very bearish area, but I can see this huge bullish candle. We literally closed above candle 1, 2, all of this, like such a huge strong move without leaving a wick to the upside, and barely did we even leave a wick to the downside? No. A strong bullish Marabazu candle. If you're looking for sells, it doesn't really make sense. We're bullish on the daily, bullish on the weekly, bullish on the 4 hour time frame. Now I just need to look for areas to buy from. Where the highest probability area for me to buy is this previous structural point, because when price came into this area, we absolutely leaked. And if price comes into this area and maintains above, I'm looking for huge buys to the upside. Again, how would that look on the weekly? On the weekly time frame, it will look like this. It will look like this, and be a wick, and I can potentially see price continuing this upside momentum. So yeah, we need to try getting it up at the bottom of the wick if we can. We can see it. We opened quite bearish, to be honest. It's Sunday. In the UK, it's 12 p.m. Yeah, 12:03. So the market opened around 3 hours ago for us because it opened at 9 p.m. today. I believe the clocks are going forward this week, so we'll go back to normal times. We can also see on the 30-minute time frame, this is a nice structural point as well. For those who believe in institutional trading, you can see there's a nice institutional candle there. You can see that people may be looking for buys here, but we could try getting over here just below where they may get stopped out. If you want to take into consideration of market psychology, it's a nice psychological level of 1960. We can see price already tapped into this area. Once on the 30-minute time frame, we can potentially look for a double bottom. We can see GJ has hit our area. It's getting close to our zone, not yet, but I like to put my alerts just below, so I'm mentally prepared and sharp for what's going to happen. Gbpjpy AUD. Gbpjpy AUD is a bit of a mess, to be honest. All right, so we can clearly see the weekly time frame we had huge bullish momentum. We saw the weekly close below 182.500, which is a nice quarterly level. We can see that this gives us potentially but this can mean we can potentially look for some sells to the downside because we saw this weekly rejection, we saw a huge pump, and then we saw a pause, and we can potentially see price push down into 1.8. However, we are bullish on the weekly time frame. We pinched above this high. We closed above these bodies, so we can see we are bullish on the weekly time frame. Doesn't mean we just look for buys. We need to see where is the highest probability buying area. We may be at our high. We need to see where we are. Are we here? Are we here? Where are we? I believe we're around here right now. I believe we need to get to here, which is here, before we can get our next leg to the upside. So based off that, what I want to do is go on the daily time frame. I can clearly see there is huge wicks to the downside, lower highs and lower lows. We can clearly see that price is weakening slowly to the downside. We could potentially see a huge wick to the downside as well. Something like this, and then push up. But I'm also going to be very wary of this area here. I like to flip it because it just looks cleaner for me. On the 4-hour time frame, it's a bit of a mess, to be honest. That's why I don't really like it. It's like, where do I enter? Do I enter here? I don't want to put my stops there. Price can easily just wick up like this. Don't like it. I don't want to sell down here because I would just rather wait for buys. Because I don't like PA. Don't really like. It's just a bit of a mess. It's a mess. I can see easy manipulations of this. Yeah, it's not clean. It's not the cleanest. If I was to try and read it, we can clearly see that. Let me flip this. Let me flip this. It makes more sense. It just makes more sense to me. It just looks cleaner for me. It just looks better. We can clearly see that. Price likes to respect the first highs which were made. You can see price came, pinched above this, from this high, low, this high, or low, whatever you like to call it. When we flip it, it's a bit different, but it's the high. And we can see we've maintained below this high. So if price 4 hours still rejects this area, and we're still maintaining below this prominent wick, this prominent high which has been made, if price does that, I am looking for sells. I may put a tight stop loss just above that high for price to continue to the downside. Because what we're doing is we're taking out all these early buyers, because I've flipped the chart, they're actually buyers. Well, these are all early buyers. We've taken them out, but we've maintained above this prominent high, which is like the daddy you can't get above yet. But we're getting above all these people. And you can see price has done that in the past many a times. Can I find an example? Yeah, you can see here. prominent high was made. We formed highs, formed highs, formed highs, took them out, took them out, took them out, took them out, but we maintained above this prominent high always. We even came from the lower high, but we took them out. We just took all these little babies out, but we maintained above that prominent high and we absolutely rolled over. I'm not saying this is the prominent high, but right now it is looking like it is what it is. Do I see that happening? Potentially, but this is a much stronger area. If you go on the daily time frame, we can see this is a nice strong area. It's a 1.8p round level, psychological level. We can see when price tapped into this area, we had a huge pullback into this zone. This zone is where there was huge wicks into it. You can see that it's a nice key level. It's 1.8. It's a strong level. If price can pull back, I believe it will pull back here, and we will fall down into 1.84147. Let's see. Let's see what happens. Yeah, let me think. I missed. I don't think so. You know, there's some news today, this week. The monetary policy in the Bank of England rates. We're expecting a 5% hike, 0.25% basis points on interest rate hike in America, USA, US dollar. So let's see how that impacts the dollar. Again, I believe these rate hikes already been priced in. We already saw that how bullish DXY was. I believe all these hikes were already we're expecting a 2.5%, so I don't really see that having any impact on DXY. I don't really like talking about fundamentals too much, but I think it's good to just keep an eye on, especially if you're a swing trader. So, anything else? No. Let's see what happens. Gbpjpy. Give me that 4-hour rejection. Even if it comes in like this, closes, that's a 4-hour rejection for me. Because the body closed below this zone or this area, it tells me that there is some selling pressure. Price was around here and sellers pushed you back down below, telling us, wait, we don't want you to get past us. So then I'm like, all right, we've got that 4-hour closure below 4-hour respected it, which is a much stronger indication of selling, or gives us a high indication of selling than the 30-minute. Then let's just say on the after the 4-hour close, the 30-minute looks like that. I'm looking for a 30-minute nice little wick, another rejection, double top on the 30-minute, something like that. Put my stops above the zone around here and look for strong sales to the downside. If that does not happen, I will wait for a break, retest, pump. As you can see, as you can tell, I'm more interested in GJ all the time because GJ is my favorite pair. I've got the most experience in trading GJ. Some of this may not make sense to you, but it makes sense to my eye just from my experience from GJ. Gold, again, it's just a patience game. Do I want to sell down to here? Absolutely not, especially when we had a strong bullish mobile to come on the weekly time frame. It does not make no sense. And yeah, let's if there's anything else, just give some extra analysis. Let's look at US30. I don't trade this, by the way. I remember seeing something. Yeah, I just saw that we're clearly bearish on the daily. We look like we're having some nice bearish momentum to the downside on the weekly time frame. Four-hour, yeah. So I can see 1332600 potentially retracement into this area, and sell to the downside down to 3000. Let's see if that happens. GBP USD, I don't really like GBP USD. Let's have a look. Yeah, I don't really like this pair too much. You can see the weekly is closed above the last previous wicks. We had nice rejections at 18393. Wick, pump, pump. Last time we wicked into this area, we pumped. Last time we wicked in this area again, Can we get that pound back up? I believe so. If you go down on the daily time frame, you can clearly see a break of structure. You go down on the 4-hour time frame, you can clearly see bullish momentum. So potentially you can wait for price to push, pull back. You can maybe see some continuation like this. See the pattern that price is in right now. Wait for price to pull back here. Potentially push up. Shot maybe into here. If you want to take a nice trade. I'm just restarting right now. I'm really tired. I want to go to sleep. But is any other pair? Okay. Let's go on a random. Let's just go on some random pair. Let's go on USD CAD. USD CAD looks so boring. Early weekly time frame is bullish. Is it bullish? No, yep, it's bullish. Yep, we're bullish. I don't know why I'm hesitating about that. Why is my mouse not working? Daily time frame. Daily. Maybe come back into this area. Daily's bullish as well. Yeah. Buys here. Buys around here. Up into this area here potentially. If you want to take a conservative approach, wait for a break, retest, and buy. Maybe risk 0.5% here, and when price breaks above and retest, risk another 0.5%. So how would I explain this now? Something like that potentially. We can see the 4-hour has to go bearish to potentially get to the zone. The high, break of structure, pull back, push. Technically, we're still bullish because we broke structure. I think we will break structure to the downside, become bearish. Maybe you can wait for price to become bullish, retest, then push up. You could take conservative approach by waiting for a break of structure on the 4-hour time frame, or you can take an aggressive approach by entering at this zone with your stops, maybe just below this area here, and take buys to the upside. It's all about your risk preference. If you want to be aggressive or conservative. Thank you very much, everyone. I hope that helped. Sorry for my low tone of voice. I'm just so tired. Take care. Peace.